I have to say the question that comes up most about this Firewood processor is how long you can run it before you have to sharpen the chain. That's a very good question. I just put a new chain on there right now. I'm going to make a couple cuts, and I'll tell you how much I got out of the last one and if it was even dull or not. So I just pulled up here to the house. I got some information for you. This chain I just took off the processor. I probably cut and split 15 cords of wood with this, and I think you could get 30 out of it before it needed sharpened. I put a new one on there, and I really couldn't tell if it was much faster. That's what my concern was, because that thing is basically a 74 horsepower chainsaw, and it has so much power. I was wondering if I would know, or how I would know, when the chain got dull. So I thought, you know what, I ran 15 cord through it. Let's swap it out with a brand new one, see if there's any difference. And I really couldn't tell the difference. The other bit of good news is this. These are surprisingly inexpensive. Now this is 404 chain. It's the big stuff. And 94 drive links. This is like a harvester chain that you would see on, like wood processing equipment. But I bought a couple of these on Amazon for $44. Now I'm going to buy a bench grinder, but I think if I get 6 chains total and a grinder, that's going to last me a really, really long time. But yeah, $44. I think a chain for my 500i 25-inch bar is close to that much. And this is much, much bigger. Here's a little size comparison for you. 404 chain in the middle is 3/8, and on the top is 1/4 inch. That's what I run like on my pole saw. Yeah, the 404 is huge. And, like I was saying, say you get 50 cord out of one chain. And I know you're going to get more than that. You could probably get close to that without even sharpening it. But if you're to get 50 cord out of a chain at $44, that's less than $1 a cord. So that's actually pretty good. This was one of the things I was wondering about before I bought that processor, was how often I was going to be swapping chains out and sharpening and things like that. It's actually pretty reasonable. Much less expensive than what I thought it would be. It really is. Like I said, I'll get maybe 6 or 8 chains. I'll buy a bench grinder, and I should be good for years. All right, it is first thing in the morning. I would rather be down at the Firewood processor, but I have to take Melissa's vehicle down for a state inspection. We just had the Blue Roo done the other day, and we got to get the Yukon taken care of today. I'm also going to have them look at that piece on the lower front bumper that just broke for no reason. See what they say about that. And this vehicle here has the, the GM 6.2 liter, and there's been a lot of reports of these blowing up. I guess it's a bearing on the connecting rods that are failing. But you read these articles, and it sounds like, you're playing Russian roulette if you're driving down the road. There's been 39 reported cases. I'm sure there's more, out of 877,000 engines. So I don't know what the truth really is. If it's a serious problem or not, time will tell. But, with something like that, there's no warning at all. They just blow up. But it made me think. I watched a video the other day. It was a really good video. This guy was talking about how we basically make disposable cars anymore. Not just Ford or GM or Dodge, but everyone. I mean, Honda, Toyota, some of the things, the internal combustion engine has been around a very long time, and we pretty much had it perfected, and now there's a lot of problems. There is. It's like the cars are designed to make it to about 100,000 miles, and that's it, So, I don't know. I don't know if there's a good answer or not. The good answer would be, what the best answer would be? That old Ford Highboy I have with a 7.3 Power Stroke diesel in it. That would be the vehicle to have. So check this out. I'm still at the dealer waiting for my vehicle. This is a Hummer pickup. It's an EV, $111,000. I don't know what the range is on something like this, or how long it takes to charge. I like the color of this one, like a forest green or something. Not a fan of the blue. This is in their used lot, a Defender. I always thought these were a cool looking vehicle. I don't know much about them. I know a lot of people like them. They are a Lotus dealer as well. They're all inside. I may go look at one of them. I don't know if I've ever really seen one. But this Defender, they want $67,900 for 20,000 miles. It's a 2023. All right, so I got Melissa's vehicle picked up. It's all ready to go. Oil change, tire rotation, state inspection, and there is a recall for a software update they took care of. The oil change and all that, we get a couple of those for free since we bought it there. But when I was down there, I went in and I was looking at those Lotus. Pretty interesting car. Not really something that I would be interested in, but they run a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder from Mercedes-AMG in one of them. And you can also get a 3.5-liter V6 Toyota engine that is supercharged. The inline 4-cylinder is turbocharged, and they're both 400 horsepower, but the inline 4, I believe, has more torque and is a little bit faster than that Toyota V6. And but yeah, there's a guy came up to me. I didn't exactly look like I'm the type of person, and it's correct, that would buy a Lotus, but he just came up, asked me if he could help me, answered all my questions. Interesting car. Those EV Hummers, they're just not for me. I got nothing against EVs in general, but my biggest thing, I think, is there's no sound, It's like it's bred into us or something. Like even our grandson, Bo, I don't even think he's a year and a half old, but I start my truck or a tractor, that sound, that cold startup, the skid loader, he can be in the building and hear something start up, and does he get excited. You know what I mean? It's just something, I don't know, like a GT 500 Mustang compared to the real fast Tesla. The Tesla would smoke that Mustang, but it just doesn't sound like it. There is no sound, really. I don't know. Everything's changing, though. I don't know. I'd like to see some big changes, and there's talk of it. People have been sending me emails saying that the EPA, there's no more diesel emissions. That's not true at all. They're all still in place as far as I can tell, but they are taking a hard look at it from what I can see. And that's actually pretty exciting. That really is. It would hurt me because, like, my truck would probably lose, I don't even know, $30,000 in value instantly if they were allowed to sell the 6.7 Power Stroke without all the emission stuff. You know what I mean? I would be first in line to buy one. I would. And it wouldn't be hard for them at all to switch over because they're already doing it for the military. So in other words, when the military buys a truck with the 6.7 Power Stroke, there's no DEF, none of that stuff on there. I'm sure it has way more horsepower, gets way more efficient, more miles per gallon, and a whole lot less headaches. If that's something that they can roll back and do, it's going to change everything. It is. Because diesels have become kind of unpopular. You know what I mean? A lot of people are buying the 7.3 Godzilla engine and stuff. And I don't know. I like mine in my truck. But like I was saying before, once that thing hits 100,000 miles and the extended warranty is up, that truck is gone. And if they were to roll back all the emissions before that happens, I will lose a lot of money on that truck. But I don't even care. I don't. I would get a new one. I'm telling you, a new one without all that stuff on it would last me possibly a very, very long time. It would. But the way they are now, you just got to run them for a few years, get rid of them. A friend of mine, we were talking about cars and trucks. They're horrible. They're not an investment. When people say they're a horrible investment, they are not an investment. They are they're just a cost of living to me. And you have to decide how much you want to spend for a vehicle for your needs. You know, they're not an investment, just a cost of living, cost of doing business. You know, if I want to haul a tractor or the mini skid down to the cabin and haul a few logs back, I'm not going to do that with the Blue Roo. It's got to be the truck. If I'm going to go do some side work or whatever, pulling some equipment around, you need the truck. It's just a cost, and you have to decide how much you want to spend for how much power and performance and reliability and all that you want. But some exciting things are happening, man. If they would roll all that back, plus you could get a new truck for probably, as long as it's made in the U.S., probably $10,000, at least $8,000 cheaper if it didn't have all the emission stuff on it. I think that adds to the cost. You know, like the diesel option on a new Ford is almost $11,000. Yes, the diesel's a little bit more money, but about 6 or 7 of that alone is just in the emission stuff. You know what I mean? So it'd be less money, more power, more reliability, better fuel economy. It would be a real boost for a lot of people in the country. So hopefully, I don't know, they can get that done. All right, I just got back to the house here. Check the radar. We're going to get some rain. I think quite a bit of rain this afternoon. But before that happens, we're going to fire up the processor, crank out some firewood. Always like to get a little something done each day, you know? I was thinking, when I was at that dealer this morning, I was there for almost 2 hours. And I went and sat in the waiting room for about 5 minutes. And then I walked about a half mile to a Wendy's, got a breakfast sandwich, sat there for a little bit. Then I went back to the dealer. Then I went and looked at those other cars. I cannot just sit still. I just can't. I like go crazy or something. I have to keep, even if it's not something productive, I have to do something. All right, I'm cranking out some firewood here. I'm gonna have to hold up for a bit. All that wood in there is maple and cherry. All of that stuff will be ready to go for this winter. So we're gonna get some more baskets. We'll get that emptied out. The wood shed is almost completely full. Got one more row and part of another one to finish that up. But once we get that all emptied out, I can get back into this log pile here. There's some cherry up there. You have to separate out these logs because I got hickory, red oak. Those types of woods will not be ready for this winter. So I think what we'll do, get that all emptied out, then concentrate on the oak and the hickory, get all that into baskets for the following winter, and then we can get back into the cherry and the maple. You just have to kind of sort through this a little bit, but it's going really well. And we answered a question that has been coming up quite frequently, and that is, can you load the Evo with the mini skid? Absolutely, plenty of reach. And that Vermeer, it'll handle, I could load 20 footers on here, no problem. You know, probably up to 14, 15 inches in diameter, which is pretty much what I have. But right now, I think the Huntman is ready to go somewhere. But this is one of the main reasons, primarily, why I bought this machine. I spent at least 2.5 hours, if not 3 hours, getting to the car dealership this morning, going through all that stuff, coming home. I did a couple other things, and then I came down here and cranked out probably 1.5 cords, maybe 2 cords of wood, and it's like 1 o'clock right now. That's really nice, without even breaking a sweat. All right, it is first thing in the morning. Kind of a strange night last night. It warmed up about 20 degrees overnight. But I'm gonna go for a little hike here down to Maple Grove first thing. We'll come back to the house and kind of get things started. It's supposed to be pretty decent today, and then I think tomorrow rain, Monday rain. Next 2 weeks looks a little bit wet. Look at that limb that came down. I don't know why I didn't take that maple down. Whole top's out of it. I need to do that. And in about 2 to 3 weeks, we'll get that pile of stumps out of there, burn up what we can, grade that up over there, and we will plant all this for summer. Melissa's been complaining a little bit about roots on the trail. I don't know if this is what she's talking about. I think it may be out further. Problem is she pushes that baby jogger out here with grandson Bo. Yeah, like all these. I don't want to pull them out. It'll kill the trees, but we could put a little fill over top of them. Yeah, like all through here. Every time I come out here, I find more things to do. Still got a bunch of wood down from a storm over 2 years ago now, I think. That first one was a cherry, maple, straight line winds. Everything's headed that direction. Should yank that out of there. Cut that one down. Heading down to Maple Grove now. So you go down there, then there's a road below it, and you probably can't see it with this little camera, but up on that hill I can just see those houses from the new housing plan. You won't be able to in the summer, but I can just see them right now. Couple geese. All right, coming up from Maple Grove, this hill right here will wake you up in the morning. Yeah, I'll get this here fixed up. I'll have to build up that low side quite a bit. So first thing I want to do when I get back to the house, I need to fix up the ditch on our driveway. I'll show you what's going on there when we get started. I have to say, this is the best road I ever built. I haven't done one thing to it since it was done. The key, well, everything's graded properly, but the key was that roller that my buddy Adam lent me. All right, we're back over at the house here. I'm going to fix up this ditch. What happened was, a couple weeks ago, I mean, we had a downpour, serious rain, and the water kind of got kicked out of the ditch down towards the bottom, and it was running across the road, and it's just going to get worse. It is. I need to get set up here. I think I'm in pretty good shape. And the key here is to just take the slightest bit out of this ditch, because one, not much needs to come out, and two, I don't want to have a big pile of dirt to have to get rid of. So we're just going to take a little bit out, but by the time we get to the bottom, there'll be a pretty big pile. And I also don't want to get a bunch all over the driveway either. But this is where this tilt bucket really shines. Always takes me a minute or two with this thing to kind of get in the groove. There's about 6 feet, done. Some places, it could even take a little bit of dirt, but it'll just get washed out when it rains. The power of water, I'm telling you, it's something else. I gotta work around these rocks. This whole bank needs redone, but I just want to get the ditch working here. Doing this to try to compact it a little bit as well. Then you got that geotextile that's in the way as well. It's a whole thing. You'll see when we get down here what I'm talking about. But I think today it's going to be pretty decent, and then rain and storms tonight. So once I get this done, I got someone coming for firewood today. Probably run the processor a little bit. That'll probably be in the next video. This one will run a little bit long, I'm thinking. Then when I get down here by the gate, I got to be real careful. I know they're deep enough, but there's wires for the sensor buried. I don't want to turn fixing a ditch into a bigger project. And that would be calling Matt from Penn Fencing. Be like, I don't know what happened, it just quit working. Yeah, we're gonna have a pretty good sized pile of dirt by the time we get to the bottom. bit of fluff up on the bank. I'm not too worried about it. Because as smooth as I have this bottom, as it comes down, it'll go away. All right, we're getting close to the danger zone. Yeah, I could see that conduit where it makes the 90. It's funny, when I'm running a tilt bucket, I find myself tilting my head. Boy, this is a great tool right here. This bucket. You know, you could clean this out like with a blade on a tractor or something, but you'd have it all over the driveway, and this is just so much neater and cleaner and easier. And they're not really that difficult to get used to at all. I mean, you have to be able to run an excavator, but they're pretty easy to run. All right, got her all done. Came out pretty good. The only handwork I got to do is right here by the gate. I ended up wrapping right around the mailbox there and just wasted that excess material on the bank there. I had to stop somewhere or I would have ended up in town. But yeah, it came out good. I'll hit the driveway later real lightly with the land plane, but the water will definitely get to the culvert, which is right there by the mailbox. Won't shoot across the road anymore. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.